Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to yet again another fantastic indie creator interview. It's your Caper Cody, and we're keeping it geekly with our returning guest, Chris Moses, here to break down CTRL+Z issue 1 and 2 and everything in between. And we are entering the Cyberscape, and man, one hell of an issue. I loved it. This book was so good, man. Oh, there's the physical too.
There we go. We got the physicals. Thanks, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and thanks for having me back on.
Absolutely. Another beautiful issue too is, let's not forget the Saturn effect. How was that campaign for you as well, man? How'd fulfillment go?
It went nice. It went well. I mean, we had a little bit of some delays, but once we got all the corrected and perfectly printed out books, they went out immediately, and here we go. There's volume 1 of the Saturn Effect Alpha, art by Francesco Mazzoli, colored by Marco D'Alessandro, lettered by Reed Hinckley Barnes, and written by the one and only Chris Moses, which is me, myself. And yeah, we actually have another issue, the first issue of volume 2, Alpha number 5, coming out later this year. So make sure anybody
right around the corner. Yeah,
to keep an eye out, because it is coming, and it's almost ready. It's almost ready to be out there for everyone to see.
Let me take the wheel here real quick too. I had the opportunity. Chris Moses sent me like the prototype of the Red Sea Legends trading card game. Our collectible card game, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So let me go ahead, take the spotlight, and check these out. So I love just the back. You know, the back of it is just gorgeous right there. But like, check out how this looks. Every one of them is holographic. Are all the cards meant to be holographic, or was this kind of just like
So what you're holding up are our playtest prototype holographic versions. These are super limited. You're probably one of the only few people that will ever have these. When they do come out in an unlimited type version, they will be all there will be a holo version like this, and there will be a non-holo version.
Just gorgeous.
So these are prototype, like our prototype set. This is set 1. All the characters are from the Saturn Effect, and yeah, it's our collectible card game. It's 3v3. You choose 3 cards. Your opponent takes 3 cards, and you mix them up, and you play from there. It's a quick strategic card game, and it really doesn't take a lot to get into, but it's really deep. It's got a lot of different variations and permutations, which makes it very chess-like. And it also has that just enough RNG and variance to keep it fresh and keeping it feeling like a collectible card game should. And yeah, this is set 1. It's the first set. It's the core set, I'd like to say. It's got a lot of what you'd expect from a card game. It's got a lot of cool different effects. It's got a lot of different potentials for deck building. There's cards that work well with other cards. There's cards that, you know, aren't as powerful without other cards. And then there's cards that are strong on their own that alongside some help can be very powerful strategies. So the game is really deep, and this is just set 1. We have set 2 that will be coming out as well when all of these do finally get launched. And set 2 will have characters like Eidolon from CTRL+Z and other CTRL+Z characters, and then other Red Sea characters that we haven't seen, or that we've seen in other medium like online comics like Free Tellover and things like that. Real
quick, ooh, first edition too, very nice. We have Ashes here, for 4 HP. What's let's kind of dissect this a little bit. Like what are these symbols on the card? You know, what's the red one?
Right, so the red one is the attack symbol. Each card has a passive or an active ability, an attack, and a guard. And and that makes every card have its uses and its disuses. I'd like it to guess. So Ashes is a powerful card. He has 4 HP, and his ability is that whenever a card dies on the field, which means whenever a card, regardless of it's your card or your opponent's card, goes to 0 HP and it's killed by another card, Ashes gains 1 attack. So Ashes is something that progressively gets stronger throughout the game. If Ashes is your last card, he will go up to he'll go up to, if he's the last card and your opponent has 1 card, he gets +2 from both, so he'll go up to a 5 attack, and he becomes a very strong card when the highest attack or the highest HP any card has as of right now is 5, so he'd be able to one shot everything. So it's each card has its own little flavors, and they're all reminiscent of the comics that they come from. And a lot of people ask, is Red Sea Comics, are they all in the same universe? And the answer is no. If they're not specifically have the same title or in the same story, they're not in the same universe. So if you do want to see your favorite cards going against each other, Red Sea Legends is the perfect place for that. And yeah, it's hopefully we'll have more to show in the coming months and in the next year, and everyone can hopefully get their hands on some sets and some cool founder stuff when we finally put it on live on Kickstarter. We're
gonna have to throw down some time. Real quick, not to dwell too much on the cards. I mean, are they attacking each other? Are they? Does the player have like an ultimate like life, like Magic the Gathering? How does that work?
So each player has 3 cards. I'll have 3 cards and you'll have 3 cards. And the game, as it progresses per turn, they will flip up until all 3 of them are flipped face up. And your HP is represented by those 3 cards. So once all 3 of them are gone or killed, you will have lost. So essentially your HP is a addition of all the cards that you've chosen or that you've randomly gotten depending on how you play. That would be your total HP. But technically only your cards have HP, and the game is over when all of your cards are dead, because you won't be able to make a move. So the games are quick, right? I have 3 cards, you have 3 cards, and the game is sort of gated because it takes you need energy to play different actions, and that energy is gained once per turn to a maximum of 3 depending on whatever your cards do. And once you get to there, the game definitely opens up and can end with really explosive ending turns. But the game goes fast, and you get to go to the next one and move on. So there's a lot of different choices to make. Every card has at least 2 to 3 choices for you to make a turn, and part of the variation and the depth of the game is that you get to make a choice between which decision you're making. You have an opportunity cost. You only have a certain amount of energy per turn to spend on your potentially 4 to 6 different choices depending on what cards you have. So it's a very deep strategic game. I love that. People will really enjoy it when they finally get to play it. It's quick to pick up, but it's very deep. And I think it's actually interesting because a lot of people are really addicted to Marble Snap right now, and the Marble Snap team and I attacked card games and tried to solve card games in the same sort of manner, but we had fundamentally different philosophies while doing that. Whereas Marble Snap, they've obviously gone very, very heavy into the RNG aspect to flatten out competitiveness, to make it fun for everyone and give it very infinite replayability. I've tried to flatten out the randomness as much as possible to make it as fun while also being strategic as possible, while still keeping some, because obviously RNG, that heart of the cards moment, is a beautiful thing in card games. So there is still some of that. Did you play a lot of cards like growing up as a kid? Yeah, definitely. I played. I was gonna say, like, because the level of like the meta aspect to this is just like there's a whole like 3 cards at first, that feels like there's not a whole lot there, but like when you have the 6 different choices that come with those 3 different cards, it just seems like there's a whole different level of like a meta aspect to it, that only someone who's like played these type of card games would just have. Yeah, I've definitely played a lot, man. It's a lot. There's definitely it's a fun game, is what I'll say. And there's a lot of choices, and I feel like people will enjoy it, as I've said. And yeah, I played a lot of card games. Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic, Hearthstone probably is what I have put the most hours into. I play a lot of Auto Battler, so TFT, which is, I guess, a type of card game too. Deck building games like Slay the Spire. I played a lot of. I mean, there's a bunch of card games that I played, and I played a lot of different video games at, like, I wouldn't say at like a super high competitive level where I'm going to tournaments, but there are games that I've gone to tournaments for. Okay. So I don't know. I approach things from like not, I wouldn't say a pro level, because it's definitely not, but like from a gamer level, obviously. So I've played a lot of games, and played a lot of games at not just like the average level, at like at a higher level too. So that just like means that I feel like I've seen games in a way that like I see it as a consumer, but also somebody that wants something a little bit deeper from them as well.
So let's segue back to Control Z. We kind of, you know, we went a little ham on the card game, but I mean, I had to. I remember, you know, one of our first interviews, you know, we scratched just the surface of it, and then you're like, yeah, man, I'll send you a prototype. And I remember checking my PO box like every day, and then when the day it finally happened, I was like, ooh. We got to chum it up about this. So Control Z issue 1, issue 2. This is such a fantastic series. I just love the world that you crafted. You know, we are led into the Cyberscape. What is this? What is Cyberscape? I mean, this is a simulation, correct?
Right. So Cyberscape is a simulation. It's a post-physical world that humanity has migrated to. And humanity has been there for 200 years when Control Z starts. So what has been going on? What's the vibe? You know, you got to pick up the issue and find out, right? But but yeah, it's an interesting setting for a story, because we know that we're in a simulation, but there's still a lot of mystery around exactly what's going on. So
in a simulation, you know, what type of trouble can we expect? I mean, surely there's, you know, it's not all, you know, a walk in a park. There's probably something out there that's going to kind of disrupt the things, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're in a simulation, so you got to imagine that there's going to be hackers and people coding things that maybe they shouldn't be. And the main problem in Control Z is getting Control Z, because people are going missing from the simulation, and that's a central question to what's going on. Is why are people disappearing from this simulation? This is supposed to be a heaven of some sorts.
Mm-hmm. So when you went to go create this story, you know, what influences were in your mind when you were, you know, script writing? This sounds like, you know, such an awesome mix. Like, you know, I'm feeling a little bit of Matrix in there, maybe a little bit of hackers in there. I don't know. You know, what was in your mindset when you were creating the story?
I mean, definitely the Matrix, definitely Ready Player One, a lot of, you know, superhero type stuff. It's a sci-fi story, but it definitely does have some superhero elements to it. And it's just a different way of sort of telling a sci-fi action story, I believe. But yeah, definitely those two. And then maybe a little bit of like Code Lyoko, if you remember that. From back in the day. Yeah. There's a little bit of that in there. It's pulling from a bunch of different realms, and more. I'm always pulling from things like Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep or Foundation and things like that. Mm-hmm. These are like the staples sci-fi books for me that I love, that are always running in my head when I'm writing something new. And so yeah, there's quite a few things. I can't remember exactly everything that went into it right now, because it's honestly, Control Z is something that I've written a little while ago. So it's nice to finally get it out to people. Because
was this before the Saturn Effect?
Not before the Saturn Effect, but I mean right afterwards.
Okay.
I finished both of them, and those have both been. I mean, we're getting on maybe even a couple of years that they've been finished. So it's really nice to finally get them out into people's hands and to see how people react to this crazy story that I've had.
How's it feel to have been like holding on to it for so long and to finally have this opportunity? I mean, because I read it and it was fantastic. I mean, so it had to have been hard to like contain this heat from the world.
It's really hard, man. I'm not gonna lie. It was definitely difficult. But it's something that you just sort of learn too, because even though I wrote it I wrote it a couple years ago, so there's things that I've written since then that are even that are crazier or even mm-hmm. more different, and that tell something else that I want to show the world. And we have to wait on it, and we have to wait on it even longer than this one, right? So, and that's just how these things work now. As you start to put together projects, it just, you know, it takes a little bit longer to get it out there. It's just you have schedules and all and the like, and you have other things that you want to put out, and it all starts to build up. So yeah, it was hard. It still is hard to hold on to some of the stuff and not be able to show it to people, but it's all worth it in the end.
Hey, let's talk about that cover too. I mean, cover A, it looks that looks like a rather like ominous person. Is that our protagonist? Like who are we looking at there?
So yeah, this is our protagonist, Eidolon. She's a sentry or a moderator of the simulation, and she's tasked with keeping everything in line. There's 3 different servers in Control Z, the top, the mids, and the lowers, and it's up to the sentries to keep it all in line. And you know, there's more to learn about the sentries and who the sentries are and what has happened to them since they've been there in Cyberscape. And yeah, she is an ominous person. She's also kind of angry. She's also kind of an angry person. She's got a little bit of a potty mouth, but that's Eidolon. That's her. That's just who she is. And yeah, she's a really awesome and fun protagonist to write. And I mean, she looks dope. And Ricardo Secchi and Marcos Martin just did a really amazing job with everything. Ricardo with the designs. Everybody's super dope, and feel like she's very striking, and like you're like, oh shit, what is this fucking robot chick doing?
Ready to go to war, dude. Ready to go to war.
Right.
So that was the artist and the colors, correct? Who's the letterer on the comic?
Reed Hinckley Barnes is the letterer for basically everything that I've done. So you could pretty much assume that if it says Chris Moses on it, that Reed's lettered it.
Hey, once you find someone that's good to work with, you know, it's why let that go? Like, you know,
exactly.
And Reed kills it on everything he touches. So a phenomenal team involved on this as well. So, I mean, wow, what a world set. 200 years in the future. Are we going to see any of these other issues touch on the past at all? Like, are we going to kind of see some of those early beginnings, you know, start to unfold?
You know, that's a great question, and you know, there will be a prequel. There will be a prequel. Okay. How much of before Control Z you will get before that prequel comes out? You'll just have to wait for issues 3 and 4 to find out. You'll get some though. You'll get a little bit, but for more of exactly what happened in those 200 years since, you're just gonna have to come back for whatever is up next for Red Sea Comics. But for now, it's just these 200. It's the present. 200 years in the future.
Let's hack our way into the Cyberscape and transition over to the Kickstarter and see what we're campaigning for. We are looking at Control Z issue 1 and 2. Issue 1 and 2 of a brand new action sci-fi comic for mature readers at a goal. Wow, 8,781. Congratulations, man, of a $2,000 goal. So 4 times your goal, man. 279 backers and 60 hours left to go. Chris, dude, how are you feeling, man? This is awesome.
I'm feeling good, man. I think we're making moves, and it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next 60 hours. At 48 hours, Kickstarter sends out an email to everyone that is a project follower. So we'll see what happens in the last 2 days. It's been a little rocky for the past week. I know you see the number and it's like, wow, you guys. And yes, we have been doing very well, and I'm very appreciative of everyone that's backed. But hey, you know, it's like something to know as a creator, like the more people that will take part in your campaign, the more people that will eventually drop your campaign. And you just got to ride it out. It's all part of the process. So we had a little bit of a rocky week, but we're still going strong. And I appreciate everybody that's gotten on board and has powered us to 8.7K. We've unlocked 3 different stretch goals, and we have 1 more stretch goal at 10K. So anybody that wants to get that last stretch goal unlocked for everyone, make sure to pledge before we end on the 8th.
So in terms of Kickstarters, is this like one of your more successful ones? Like, how does this rank across the board?
Oh, this is number 1. This is number 1 in pledges and number 1 in backers. It's number 1. This is the best one so far, and hopefully we can keep kicking it up, keep it going, see how high we can go.
What are you doing? What's leading to the success? I mean, I see a lot of your tactics on Twitter. Would you read this comic? Those are always taking off. I mean, like, what is kind of fueling your success to the top with this?
So there's definitely a long way to go before the top, but I appreciate you talking me up. But really, I think it's a combination of the pitch and the story, the world, and the art, all those combined, plus the different rewards. This is the most rewards that we've ever offered, the most different reward tiers, or most different reward covers. not the most amount of add-ons, but just in general, there's there's just a lot of stuff here for people to grab and get their hands on, and we just went a little bit bigger and better and badder than we did before, and it's definitely led to some success. And it's been a little while since my last Kickstarter. The last one I did was May 2022, so I think there was also quite a few people that were just waiting for a chance to finally get their hands on some Chris Moses products, and hopefully that amount of people will continue to grow, and we'll see how well this one ends and how well the Saturn Effect Alpha 5 does, and how well Control Z will do when we come back eventually for issue 3.
No, these interiors are so gorgeous. And I was mentioning earlier, it seems like 10,000 is kind of like the goal, right? Like for YouTube, you want to hit 1,000 subs. You're in the beginning, that's what you're aiming for. And it seems like with Kickstarters, like 10,000 is that magic number. Like once you can hit 10,000, then it seems like you're really starting to kill it. Like what's your thoughts on that? Do you think is that kind of like a magic number for creators to hit?
I think 10,000 is probably just the point where most people's comics either break even or go positive when you run a Kickstarter. Is probably what I'd say, right? Like you have to factor in how much it costs to print everything and ship everything from your campaign, and then on top of that, then you have to make back all the money that you spent paying your team and your artists and things like that. So I think 10K is probably where most people start to hit their break-even point, their true break-even point, and start to maybe dip into actually profiting and making some money, depending on how much they spent to make it. I think that's just a generalization. Some people spend way more on like a single issue comic book. Some people spend way less. It really depends. But that's what I would say. Generally, that's probably that's like the mark where it's like, all right, you're chilling. And if you can hit that consistently, right? If you can do 3 or 4 10,000 campaigns a year, you're making more than like the average American, basically, just doing Kickstarters and kickstarting books, and that's kind of really crazy. I mean, from comic books. Yeah. So I think 10,000 seems to be the number where people are like, all right, this is where it really makes sense. But it is probably closer to like 7, 8. That's where like most people, like if you told them you can make 5K a campaign, they'd be like, okay, that's dope, and then they just keep doing it. So, but yeah, 10K is where hopefully most people are making some money.
So some questions about these interiors. We see some rather interesting things happening in these panels, like this, for instance. It looks like, her leg is like evaporating into panels. But what is going on here? This is so gorgeous.
So it is a gorgeous scene, but it's also a brutal scene. This is the opening of Control Z #1, where our sentries, Eidolon and Argus, are chasing after this group of lowies, or people from the lower servers, that are able to edit the simulation when they really aren't supposed to. In Cyberscape, the different tiers of people have varying levels of access to editing the simulation around them, and these people are able to edit, even maybe in a limited way. They're able to edit when they aren't supposed to, and they're causing a lot of havoc and trouble in a different server. So they're in a server that they're not supposed to be in as well. So the sentries are there to clean it up and arrest them and figure out exactly how the hell they're even doing what they're doing. So Argus codes in a sniper and snipes her leg off. And
so codes in, like they can like at will like bring up any weapon they need to.
Correct. So
wow.
they can do essentially anything, the sentries, or even anyone that has access to editing. If you have the privileges, you can edit whatever your mind desires. And so it's an interesting thing for the sentries of what they choose, or even these characters, what they choose to actually code in. So we see here on this page, the character Mallard codes in a van that, in order to protect her from the bullet, it gets coded right, it gets shot right through, and the bullet ends up deleting her leg, and that's what the paneling is her leg being deleted and shattering into cyber dust or
so without diving into anything that might be spoiler, because this very well might be, like, is this their actual physical body? I know you said this was a simulation, so is this like a digital representation of them or their actual physical body?
So this is a digital representation of them. It's not their actual bodies. And
ooh,
what's going on with their actual bodies? I mean, shit, you're gonna have to read and find out.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. And we have a lot of other interesting things happening right here too. So who is this? He seems like he is of pretty big importance.
So this group that we're seeing are called the Script Kids, or the Script Kiddies, and their leader is this guy, Puma, and he is very pissed off because they've been in the simulation for 200 years, and he is 15, and he still looks 15. So he's pissed off about it, and because he can't edit himself up and make himself older. Because he doesn't have the privileges for that. And so this is an interesting thing. So a lot of people that we see in this is what they look like when they were uploaded, if they were, if they're in the lower server, because they weren't able to edit themselves up throughout their time in Cyberscape. But yes, Puma is a big character, super important character. And he plays a big role in this overall mystery. And here in the scene, Eidolon is asking him, like, who are you working for? Are you working for the admin, who is a mysterious foe that we learn more later on in this issue about? And he's like, nah, dude, like, you don't even know what you're talking about. There's so much more going on. And I guess we'll have to find out if Puma is right or not. Is there more going on, or is everything just linked to the admin? So
I love it so much.
Yeah, it's a deep story. There's a nice deep mystery, but it's also really fast paced, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and there's a lot of beautiful, gorgeous art to look at while it's all taking place.
So before we dive into the variants, let's go ahead and check out some of these tiers on the side. Everyone that is watching, right here is the link. Check this out with us. Most importantly, back if you can. If you can't, just put this on Facebook and Twitter, anywhere you can. Word of mouth is 100% free. So we have a digital copy of issue 1 and 2 for the outstanding price of $10. So that's $5 a digital copy. Dude, awesome pricing on that. We have a physical at $20, so you can get issue 1, issue 2, 24 pages and 26 pages for just $20. That's 50 pages of sci-fi action. At 20 or more, you also have the Red Sea Comic Starter Bundle. So give us a little bit about what's in this bundle.
So the Red Sea Starter Bundle comes with issues 1 and 2 of Control-Z, comes with the Saturn Effect Alpha #1 digital, which one of our stretch goals was to give out the Saturn Effect Alpha #1 digitally. So everyone that purchased this or backed at this pledge, or that came with the Saturn Effect Alpha #1 digital, has been upgraded to the Saturn Effect Alpha Digital Deluxe. And that's issue #1 of the story that's coming back later this year. And then there's the Saturn Effect Helena #1 digital, which is a spin-off in the Saturn Effect universe, which takes place before the events of the Saturn Effect Alpha, but give context specifically to issue 3 of the Saturn Effect Alpha and the rest to come. And an important character that we meet in the free webcomic that I have, the Saturn Effect Ajax, which you can read at thesaturneffect.com. And also they have 2 issues on Global Comics right now. And yeah, and if you like those and you like the Saturn Effect Helena, then the Saturn Effect Alpha 5 is going to be the perfect book for you, because this is where worlds collide and all the different storylines are finally in the same place. And
let's go, dude.
Heading towards the epic conclusion of the Saturn Effect Alpha. So, and the Saturn Effect as a whole, all of the Saturn Effect is coming to an end in the Saturn Effect Alpha Volume 2. So definitely catch up if you haven't, and get ready for Volume 2. But we're still here in Control-Z. And yeah, we have a bunch of different variants tiers as well, as you can see.
So right, this is the 25 or more tier right here, correct?
Yes, correct.
This is gorgeous. I love this.
And speaking of the Saturn Effect, this is done by the artist of the Saturn Effect, Francesco Mazzoli, colored by Ilaria Fella, who also is a colorist for my book Soma City. And yeah, it's a gorgeous cover, and I mean, I love this variant. It came out really dope, and the composition is just fire. And yeah, this is the variant, so you'll be able to get it here, or you'll be able to get it at conventions. But yeah, I mean, it's always better to.
And so is this Kickstarter? Is this kind of how it works too? Like they can shoot through like a panel like this, and it come out the other side, almost like a like portal effect.
Yeah, you could shoot through.
So
those
cool.
are called they're called gates, and yes, you could theoretically shoot through a gate.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. This is a super cool composition that Francesco did for us.
And then we have the other variant right here, another gorgeous cover too.
So this is done by Andrea Scalmazzi, who is a protege of my friend Francesco Mazzoli, and he's amazing. He's so good. Honestly, he's like, he's nuts. He's just a super nuts kid, and so good at what he does. Yeah.
Is this any foreshadowing right here? I noticed some of their screens have like the caution symbol on that. Is that something we can expect to see in later issues?
So this is the variant specifically for issue 2, and it's, I mean, yeah, this is definitely foreshadowing of what happens in that issue. You know,
you gave me issue 2, and I told myself I wasn't gonna read it because I didn't want to like read it and then want to get too hyped and like ask about it. So I'm glad I didn't, because I probably would have right there. That would have been the moment.
you would have read it though, and you would have been like, okay, I get it.
Chris Moses would have came out of the corner, like put me a headlock. Shut up, Cody.
No, it would have been okay, man. It would have been, we could have talked about it. It would have been fun. But you'll enjoy. Hopefully you enjoy it when you get a chance to read it. And then we have Kickstarter exclusive covers. This is one by Tina Valentino, and she's an amazing artist. And these Kickstarter exclusive covers will never be at conventions, and they'll never be on my website, and they'll only ever be on Kickstarter. And they will always be vaulted or put in the Red Sea Comics vault after the campaign that they were initially on. So if you want to get it, grab it now. Once it's gone, who knows the next time anyone will be able to get their hands on it.
So what was
maybe never. So
what was some of your inspiration for doing that? Like, was that something you just recently started doing, or something that you've been doing with each Kickstarter?
Well, so every Kickstarter, there are some rewards that don't come back to the next Kickstarter. So those things are technically in the vault as well. Mm-hmm. And they'll periodically come back, some things from the vault that I feel like, you know, introducing. One of those things in this campaign is the Sound Effect Alpha Deluxe. That's something that I haven't offered since I think the second Sound Effect campaign. And you'd only been able to get it at a convention otherwise. But I wanted, you know, people to feel like they've gotten something special for backing a campaign and joining along and helping us along. And so getting specifically a Virgin cover from an awesome artist like Tina Valentino, and colored by James Affredi, who's also a veteran in the space, in the comic book industry. Mm-hmm. You get, like, it's just a fun, awesome thing to have, and very collectible. And will be, just makes it rare, you know, like you feel like, all right, this is something cool, and like it's something special, and hopefully we'll if you hold on to it long enough, maybe we'll have a decent amount of value in the future, if not a lot of value, because like I said, they'll be very limited and hard to get. And, you know, who knows the next time they'll be available for anyone to get their hands on. And our last one's by Ricardo Ribaldo. This is our last Kickstarter exclusive. The Tina Valentino one is for issue 2. This one is for issue 1. And it's also our first Not Safe for Work cover. And, you know, the fact is, you know, at a convention, it's kind of hard to have not safe for work stuff. Sometimes you're not even allowed to kind of have that kind of stuff on display for people to, you know, there's kids walking by. Some of these shows are family stuff. So doing a Kickstarter exclusive and doing something that's a little more risque, raunchy, a little more horny, I guess is the real word. We can like do cool stuff with like this and make it Kickstarter exclusives and cater to an audience that Kickstarter has of people, you know, more you know, a mature adult audience that likes these kind of stuff and like isn't able to really get that kind of, you know, stuff in a comic book store or from the big two. So you get this really awesome variant, and it's also limited and making it hard to come by. And who knows when anyone will be able to get a cover like this ever again, you know? And so it just makes it more special.
Can we talk about who this is, or do you want to kind of keep that undercover?
No, it's definitely, this is the admin. This is the main antagonist of Control Z, and you know she's playing chess with her feet. That's I don't know what else to say about it. You know, just you're gonna have to read to find out more. I mean, if you're a fan of chess, then you'll really like this book.
That's awesome. So we have some other tiers as well. The Red Sea starter bundle physical at $50. We have the Control Z variant bundle at $65. So is that going to include all the variant covers or just a couple of them?
That includes all the variant covers, and it's at a discounted rate, so it's a nice nice value for getting all the different covers if you really want all of them, and the, you know, great collector's items, you know. And it's, if you're gonna buy one, you're gonna buy two, might as well buy all of them. So.
We have the Red Sea Ultimate bundle right here, physical at 90 or more. So is this going to be like everything in the Red Sea store?
It's not everything in the Red Sea store, but it's the ultimate bundle in this, and you get everything that we've kickstarted, and you get the you get this awesome volume, and
that thing is gorgeous.
A bunch of digitals, and you get a bunch of comics, and yeah, it's the ultimate physical bundle. You are caught up. Yes, if that is your question, you are caught up 100% with the Red Sea.
All right,
if you buy this, and you got some really cool stuff.
And then we have an original page at 175. We have, and that's it. So do we have that page right here? Anywhere? Right
okay,
here,
so we
page.
had quite a few original art pieces that were up. Ricardo traditionally does digital stuff now, so all of his traditional work is exceedingly rare. And so we had his 6 original pages. These were the pages that we started off with. You see them all colored further up. This is pages 3 through I believe 8. So yeah, 3 through 8. These were the pages that we sent out to the publishers for pitching and stuff like that. So these are 6 traditionally drawn pages. I believe 3 of them are taken. I need to update this graphic and see exactly which ones are taken, but there are still quite a couple left, and yeah, these are super rare. And we had other stuff up, like these 2 original covers. This is the cover for the issue that's already been sold, one of a kind, so that's to some very lucky soul. And this is the original variant cover by Francesco Mazzoli, which also got sold, and that's also awesome. To one lucky person, and it's also one of a kind. So a lot of cool stuff, a lot of original stuff. And then we had a one of everything bundle that somebody, a really awesome backer was backed, and thanks to everyone that's supported Red Sea, and hopefully we'll have some more really big cool stuff on future Kickstarters for people to for one special person to, you know, drop some money and get something really cool and unique and special, and some bragging rights, something to be like, hey, I'm the only one that's got this. So, and we got a lot of cool stuff coming on, and we also have some cross promo. We had you scroll past some of our stretch goals. We have like art prints, special art prints like that one.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful piece. It's a cool art print. And then we have a cross promo with my boy Anthony Stokes.
I also see that you had a song too.
Yes, that's for the Control Z full theme. That's the full theme song. If you listen to the trailer's like 53 seconds or something like that. It's cut down. It's sped up a little bit. So if you want to listen to the original full theme, no nothing, just exactly how Go Don't Go wanted it, now you can, and it's really, really fucking awesome. I listened to it so many times when I got it. It's so dope. And then yeah, like I said, I have a cross promo with my boy Stokes. We both have a YouTube channel called Super Comic Bros, where we talk about comics and pop culture and old guard and new guard, and we beef, and it's kind of dope, and we're growing, we're getting up there. So we're doing some cross promos. So if you back both of us at a physical tier and type Super Comic Bros on both of our campaign comments, then you get a free Tale of Decay variant from Stokes when Intrusive Thoughts what's it called, when Intrusive Thoughts fulfills.
That's so awesome. We have, speaking of the devil, Mama Geekly stopping in over on Facebook saying, very cool. I was actually just telling Chris about how you make it to like almost every interview and how much I love you for that, Mom. So thank you for swinging in and making it into this one. Chris is one of my boys, so always greatly appreciated. Chris, for everyone who might be on the fence about backing this amazing campaign, if you just had a few moments to kind of address them individually, you know, what would you say to them, you know, to kind of help sway their opinion?
What is wrong with you? Why haven't you backed Control Z yet? It's the dopest thing you've ever seen. Goddamn, it's so goddamn cool. Look, it's got this cool robot chick on it, and she's got a gun, and she's pissed off. And there's other cool shit in it, and it's super fast paced, and it's the best thing that she'll read in 2023. There you go.
Boom, baby, boom. Boom. So what else is coming out for you in 2023? Like, what else are you doing outside of this project? I know you said issue 5 of the Saturn Effect might be in the future.
Yeah, the Saturn Effect Alpha 5 is finished inking and has been finishing for a while. We're working on the colors, and once we're ready, it's the next project. So probably aiming for sometime in the spring, and then we'll be right back with Control Z number 3, and we'll see what happens after that. We may come back for Soma, we might hit up Alpha 6, we might go Control Z 4. It's a little up in the air for the rest of the year. We'll see exactly how it shakes out, but the next 2 campaigns will be the Saturn Effect Alpha 5 and most likely Control Z.
No new IPs?
No new IPs at the moment, but I do have a plan in the next couple of months to release some free content. Ooh. I have a fantasy series, short series called When I Freeze Hell Over, following an ice witch and a teen girl that she summons from the human world as she tries to become the new devil of hell. And it's a fun manga inspired story. It's kind of like Inuyasha meets, I don't know, Winx Club maybe. And it's got witches, and it's got magic, and I wanted to put out more free content. Haven't put out free content since the Saturn Effect Ajax, so I'll be putting up you know, 4 installments over the next couple months on Global Comics, and potentially on my website as well for people to read.
That's so awesome. Yeah. We have Mama Geekly saying you're funny. Ikta stopping in to say what is up. Mama Geekly saying love the illustrations, and the girl looks badass, and Ikta saying this looks absolutely sick. Yes, guys, if you are interested, right here is the link to check it out, and make sure to back it and get a copy for yourself. You can get issue 1 and 2 digitally for $10. So 2 comics for $10, outstanding price. Chris, you know the drill. You've been on the show before. This is where we get to ask you for a little advice for anyone who might be new to the scene, trying to get into comics. I think I want to kind of tailor this question a little bit differently than last. So for anyone that is looking to add some depth to their world, you know, to add, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Hierarchies, like different levels to their world. You know, what would be some of your advice to be able to achieve that? You know, with Control Z, you have like so much going on, not only in the focus, but in the background as well. And it just seems like such a lived-in experience. You know, how can someone else, you know, achieve that within their own means?
I think the number 1 tip that I would give to somebody that wants to make a deep world and have really deep world building is to create a Bible and really plan out your world and all the different aspects of it, and plan out your characters and give them histories and give them personalities, and really design your play set, right? Like when you were making these comics, you're really sort of going to the store and buying a bunch of new toys and playing in a new fantasy world that you're creating in your in your imagination, right? So you know, make sure that you're having fun and imagine that world and really live it out and make it deep, and write it all down and collect it in one space and try and make it organized. And then when you finally sit down to write that script, you'll realize that these are almost real characters. These are real people living this imaginary life, but there's a lot of stuff going on. And, you know, just like in our world, there's a lot of different layers and a lot of different cause and effects and history behind everything. So if you plan that out and you put it on one place, like a Bible or notes and outlines, you'll be able to create a really in-depth and amazing world for your readers to hop in and explore and discover.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for the awesome advice as well. Everyone watching right here is the link one last time to check out this awesome book, Control Z, issue 1 and 2. Thank you all for swinging by. Chris, thank you for, again, hopping in, having one hell of a time with you. It's always awesome to get you on this end of things and kind of just, you know, hang out and geek things up, dude.
No, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. It was a little last minute, but you were able to squeak me in there, so I really appreciate it, Cody. Your show just gets better every single time.
Thank you. My mom's saying be safe and keep going. Absolutely. Everyone watching, I hope you all have a fantastic Sunday. Most importantly, guys, keep it geekly.